Choice of polarity. This teaching explains the parallels of the events of 2020 through 2025 regarding the choice of service to self or service to others polarity within duality. The years 2020 through 2025 have been a period of intense transformation, disruption, and awakening on both personal and collective levels. When viewed through the metaphysical lens of polarity, specifically the choice between service to self and service to others within duality, this period becomes a stage upon which humanity is being asked to consciously choose a path. Here's a breakdown of how these years reflect this deep polarity dynamic and how major global events echo the themes of service to self and service to others. Understanding service to self and service to others in duality. In the framework of duality, light-dark, self-other, unity-separation, these two paths are fundamental. Service to self is a path of self-interest, control, manipulation, and often fear-based power. It is not inherently evil, but focused on personal gain, often at others' expense. Service to others is a path of compassion, cooperation, empathy, and unity. It recognizes the interconnectedness of all beings and chooses to uplift the collective. Both polarities exist to provide contrast and free will. Earth is considered a planet of choice. Parallels in events, 2020 to 2025. 2020, the catalyst of crisis and awakening. Major themes: COVID-19 pandemic, lockdowns, global fear, disconnection, collective introspection. Service to self saw this as power consolidation by governments and corporations, misinformation, censorship, control over populations, profiteering from fear and scarcity. Service to others saw this as mutual aid networks, community support, medical professionals and frontline workers risking their safety for others, people waking up to the fragility and interconnectedness of life. Spiritual parallel. The pandemic forced a global pause, acting as a mirror. Will we isolate and protect only ourselves, or come together for the greater good? 2021, intensification of polarity. Major themes: vaccine debates, political extremism, social justice movements, economic inequality. Service to others saw this as divisiveness and demonization of the other. Use of technology and media to manipulate perception, capitalizing on chaos and division for power. Service to others saw this as rising advocacy for equality, health access, and truth transparency. Grassroots movements pushing for systemic change, individuals awakening to sovereignty and compassion. Spiritual parallel. Polarization reaches a peak. People are clearly aligning with one polarity or the other, consciously or unconsciously. 2022, breakdown of old structures. Major themes: war in Ukraine, inflation, supply chain crises, mass resignations. Service to self saw this as war as a tool for geopolitical and economic gain, fear-mongering around economic collapse, gatekeeping of resources and energy. Service to others saw this as mass re-evaluation of purpose and work, the Great Resignation. People questioning blind loyalty to institutions, emerging communities, decentralized systems, crypto, local economies. Spiritual parallel. Earth systems begin collapsing under the weight of service to self structures. A test. Will we cling to control or co-create new ways? 2023, the turning point. Major themes: AI revolution, spiritual resurgence, global protests, earth changes. Service to self saw this as AI used for surveillance, manipulation, and replacing human agency. Disinformation becoming more sophisticated. Push for centralized digital systems. Social credit. Service to others saw this as explosion in spiritual seeking, meditation, and alternative healing. People using AI for education, empowerment, creative liberation, regenerative agriculture, climate activism, and nature reconnection. Spiritual parallel. Technology mirrors polarity. Can it be used for unity or control? This year is pivotal in defining intent. 2024, conscious choice accelerates. Major themes: political upheaval, disclosure movements, solar activity, rising Earth consciousness. Service to self saw this as attempts to solidify global control systems before the old paradigm collapses. Escalation of fear-based narratives around war, disease, and economy. Divide and conquer strategies intensify. Service to others saw this as acceleration of community-based living, conscious leadership, deepening awareness of unity, oneness, and planetary stewardship. People embracing truth even when it's uncomfortable. Spiritual parallel. The veil continues lifting. Humanity must choose fear or love, control or co-creation. 2025, the threshold of harvest. Major themes: ascension energy peaks, mass awakening or mass delusion. Timelines diverge. Service to self saw this as those doubling down on control may isolate themselves in systems that are energetically unsustainable. AI, human fusion without spiritual grounding could lead to a technocratic path devoid of empathy. Service to others saw this as those choosing service, compassion, and consciousness begin resonating at a higher vibrational frequency. Split in perception. Some see the world getting worse, others experience profound peace and empowerment. Spiritual parallel. Many metaphysical systems, including the Law of One, suggest a harvest, a moment where souls polarize clearly enough to move into the next density, 4D. Earth is shifting into fourth density. Those in service to others align with the path of unity, while service to self leads to further lessons elsewhere. Final reflection, the time of decision. This 5-year window is a spiritual crucible. It's not about politics, health, or money at the surface level. Those are mirrors. The core choice is, do you live for yourself or do you live for the greater whole? This is not about martyrdom or self-neglect. True service to others includes healthy self-care because the self is part of the whole, and true service to self often masks itself as helping others, but is rooted in ego, control, or manipulation. Tools for navigating this polarity. Discernment. Truth isn't always obvious. Feel into resonance, not just facts. Sovereignty. Claim your right to choose your path, regardless of pressure. Compassion. See those on other paths not as enemies, but as teachers. Alignment. Serve where your gifts meet the world's needs. God bless all beings.